Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we're playing through part number 6 of our solo showcase of Sword and Sorcery. Now there's a couple things I'm just going to clear up before we get going in the playthrough, and they're just some very minor things, but some really important things. The first thing is, thanks to some incredible feedback from you guys, I actually found out in the comments of the last video that Autumnor actually did not have to use the recall ability in order to go back to the shrine. He could have stayed put where he currently was because I misinterpreted essentially how a soul shout works. A soul shout isn't an attack, and the good thing is I didn't get any actual hits against anybody when I did it. What it actually is for is to roll to see whether you actually roll and get the SS symbol, which I did on the die. If you do, in the time phase, I can resurrect in your area without spending soul points, meaning I can keep Autumnor in that location. Now, had I known this in that moment, I would have rolled it like I did in the last video, got the 2 SS, and I absolutely would have left him there. I would not have then triggered recall to move over here. And because it doesn't change any gameplay elements and nothing was revealed that would have impacted that, I'm definitely bringing him back here so that he's in the group ready to resurrect right in the action for the next turn. Gives us a better chance because as of right now, we have Sameera, who's currently being dominated and also is being controlled by these 2 blue gremlins, which is going to cause a problem with the supremacy bonus when we get into combat. So that's the first thing that I want to make mention of in order to correct. The second thing I want to mention is something outside of the comments, and that's for the night phase. There was this little piece of text at the bottom that says shift all used powers back to 1. We've never had to do that throughout this entire play, but I believe in an earlier episode I said that that would happen kind of every round. Don't mistake that for an every round type of occurrence. This doesn't occur every single time the event phase happens. It's a one-time effect, and because this card was in play at the time, then it really is kind of a useless piece of text there. But this night card will likely show up in the deck in future campaigns and probably not be the first card up and in play at the time. So it's kind of a one-time effect. I double-checked that on Board Game Geek to ensure I was correct. So those are the 2 main things. The next thing to talk about is the importance of a particular attack that happened, which I messed up on at the very tail end of the last episode. The goblin that attacked, I did not give them the extra hit for the banding ability, meaning there should be one more hit coming towards Sameera, because again, her, she should have had one more hit coming against her, which meant I could have rolled one more defensive die. So the risk here, me rolling this now, is that she could block it, but she could also end up taking a damage. Again, just for your own remembrance, it was this guy right here doing the last attack. So I'm going to try to block the hit, and I did. So we're safe, thank goodness. So that's awesome news. We were able to block that additional hit, and we're good to go. So now at this point, we've got Sameera mixed in with 2 blue gremlins, and we want to obviously put as much damage on them as possible. So the first thing she's going to do is use a free action for her voodoo doll. And what does this voodoo doll do is they place the voodoo doll token on a target enemy, and until the time phase, this enemy suffers the same HP you suffer, then remove the token. So basically this is going to definitely be put on this guy here because of both characters that I want to kill. This is the easiest one to kill, whereas this one continues to regen 2 HP every time phase. So there's no point in putting the voodoo doll on him because you'll likely just wipe away any hits, whereas this guy would actually take the damage. So we're putting the voodoo doll on the second blue gremlin, and we're going to go ahead with that. But that was a free action. Now she's actually in a current spot with some gremlins, so she's going to use her one action right there, the gold one, to focus, which is going to give her an automatic hit, which essentially, at the end of the day, is basically wiped out by the night hit. So that's going to cross that out, so that's good, so we don't have to worry about the night effect occurring or changing anything. The only other thing we have to remember is we do have to pull a critical when she attacks the first time due to the Carnage story event that's currently in play. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to be doing a good roll here. We do have 2 soul gems, which will come in handy. Remember when in a later phase here, when we get to, I believe it's the time phase of the end of at the beginning of the next round, sorry, we'll be able to get Autumnor onto the map without using a soul gem because he rolled the SS, whereas Skeld is going to take an entire turn to get back here. So he's going to be almost out of play for a round after this, which is nasty. Okay, so let's keep going with Sameera, because she is the last hero to activate, because in the prior video we activated both of these two heroes, so now we're on her for the very last one to go. She's going to focus all of her attention on this gremlin right here. So we're going to be rolling against him, and I'm absolutely using the battle hammer. We're going to throw this hammer at the blue gremlin and try to see if we can get some serious damage. Now again, there's lots of great things that can happen if we roll positive results in terms of getting the bolt. So here's hoping that's what happens. Remember, we also get a critical as well. Hey, we got some good stuff, but some bad stuff too. So we end up getting a shield. We end up getting a gremlin. So both of those are essentially misses. But we did manage to get a hit and a bolt and 2 hits. So this is where it gets interesting. I'm going to have to take a look. Now, if I get 1 hit, or 1 bolt, I should say, I can knock out a character. So let me take a quick look at what knockout will do. On an enemy, the shield value is ignored, so that's not going to matter because there's no shields on the blue gremlins. And they remain KO'd until the beginning of their next activation. Flying characters ignore this condition. So basically all it's doing is knocking this one over. The good news about that is it's actually going to stop that individual from counting when they go ahead and do their attacks against me. So that's really good news, because at the end of the day, they're no longer going to be dominating or controlling the area because I've knocked one of them over. So now we're even at 1-1 when they do their attack, but we're still on mine. All right, so what else can we do here? I've got reroll any defense die. That's useless. So all the defense stuff is no good. So we use the KO for that. We do have to pull the critical. Remember, for the carnage. So let's pull that critical, find out what we get before we go ahead and tally up any more of our hits. And what do we pull? We got, oh, I don't even know what this symbol is. I'm going to have to take a look and see if I can find out what that is. That is a... I don't know. It's not on my reference sheet, but I have it right here beside me. It's a critical red ability, or a red critical, and it represents a permanent body condition. The effect is applied placing the critical token on the defender's card. It remains there until the end of the quest, until removed as a body condition. Blah, blah, blah. That's weird. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a permanent condition, as in bolts. That's what it is. So I think if the enemy is to roll bolts at any time, it stops them. So basically, if this was one of the more powerful enemies, if it ever rolled a bolt against me, it wouldn't even count them. So that's a pretty crazy... And also, if I had gotten that on me, that would have been nasty, because it would have stopped me from using the KO. So I'm really glad that critical came out when it did, and it applies to this gremlin. Although it doesn't do anything for us because he doesn't use anything with the bolts. So now we're going to head back to what we actually got for a dice roll, which was 2 hits plus 1 hit is 3 hits. Technically we have 4 because we focused, but we're going to lose 1 because of the night phase, so it's 3. Now guys, that's an incredible hit. And that's really, really good. The only downside with all this is if I take a quick look at the blue gremlin card, I'm just going to check to see if there's anything that changes. Spines. If this enemy suffers damage, attack all heroes in its area. All heroes in its area, which I guess in this case would just be Sameera, because she's the only one standing still, with 2 hits. So we're going to have to resolve that as part of the AI card. But first, we'll go ahead and throw the... now, the only way that they'd be able to pull off spines is if they're still alive. And sadly, this enemy is going to be alive still, because 3 hits is not enough to cleanly take it out. So it's now got 3 damage on it, which is close to the 4 we need to kill it, but not enough. We're really hoping that Voodoo Doll ends up doing the damage we need. And it could actually happen right now because of the Voodoo Doll ability here. It says... this enemy suffers the same HP you suffer, then this is awesome. So basically, if this enemy suffers damage, attack all heroes. This is great. He could end up killing himself just from taking a swing at me. So I've done Sameera's turn in terms of the 1 action and the combat action, but now the attack is going to come, and before we even go to the enemy turn, the attack's going to come right back here from the spines. So we're going to be rolling... it says 2 hits, so I'm going to go ahead and try to block 2 hits. So for me, I got up to 3 blue dice to roll. I'm going to roll 2 of those dice and hope to block them. Now remember again, let's see, yeah, it's all based on the HP that I suffer, that this voodoo, as you can see, if it's got to be an actual hit that comes through. And I actually managed to block both, sadly. And I could have rerolled if I had gotten a bolt if I really wanted to try, but it didn't. But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, I was able to inflict pain on the one gremlin. He tried to take a shot back at me, and I was able to completely block it. So that's good news. So her turn is now officially done. And what will happen now is we're going to trigger to see what happens with oh, and actually, now that I think about this, sorry, the individual, because this monster was reactivated by the if this enemy suffers damage, attack all heroes in its area. Oh, that's a good question, actually. Would that have even happened because he was KO'd? Remain KO'd until the beginning of their activation. Well, I guess technically, let's see. Technically, this would mean that they activate. So this individual basically is back on their feet, which is really bad news for us. So that Spine's ability allowed them to get back up. So that's pretty nasty. Okay, so now we're moving into the enemy turn for the attack against Sameera, and we're going to have to go ahead and draw an encounter card, and hopefully we don't get anything nasty because they've always been nasty so far. Activate all faith, I think that's faith rune-based enemies. These guys are dexterity. They have the D there on the rune. Otherwise, the active hero must shift one used power back to 1. That's amazing. That's perfect. Because that doesn't do anything for me. Like that's not a big deal at all. Now, I did go ahead technically and use this free ability. And when I did, technically this power would be flipped over into its number 1 slot anyway. So, and that's going to happen. So basically this is flipped over like this. It's already on 1, technically, because I use it. And I should have flipped that over as soon as I used the voodoo doll. But I've done that now. This is just saying, essentially, the active hero must shift one used power back to 1. Well, it's already at 1, so we're fine. This is actually the best card I've ever gotten because it didn't activate any enemies. It was perfect. It's exactly what we needed. So we can now take that card and chuck it to the side. And we're actually done. We're done the complete, all the hero phases are done. The enemy phases along with them. We currently have these guys sitting in the current slots. And now we are going to move to the event phase. So finally, this silly Carnage card is going to move, and it's just going to be discarded. We're not going to be revealing anything else from the event deck at the moment. So that's good news as well, because it's not going to trigger anything nasty that could potentially hurt us. And now we move to the time phase. The things that happen in the time phase are things like this. In each time phase, heal 2 HP to self. So the downside with this is I put a voodoo doll on the particular character, and if we take a quick look, it said, place the voodoo doll token on the target enemy until the time phase this enemy suffers the same HP you suffer, then remove the token. Until the time phase this enemy suffers. So basically this voodoo doll comes off, essentially. But let's just do this in order. So if we go to the time phase here, it says effects cleanup, apply damage first, then other effects. Powers refresh, flip all used powers with the refresh icon on top. So again, we used it at 1, so this power is going to come back to us. Because nothing happened, the voodoo doll basically comes off and comes back into our hand again because this individual wasn't triggered, and because we got really, really lucky, and during the enemy turn after Sameera, nothing happened, plus nothing happened from the event, we're golden. We have soul enhancements and resurrections to deal with now. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get Autumnor back into his real form. And guess what? He gets to resurrect and be ready to go without having to spend any soul gems, because right here, remember in the last video, it said if we got ahead and we rolled, if I can get this to focus, in the next time phase, resurrect in your area without spending soul points. So that's the reason why I'm flipping this over right now, and it's in the time phase when he comes back. So our wonderful necromancer is back on his feet. Thank goodness, we needed that so we could actually not be totally swarmed by enemies. Now we're more even, which is great news. So that's good. Things are starting to turn around just a little bit. We're at full health with him again, which is also great. And now I think that's it. Now we're moving back into the hero phase again. So now it's just a question of what we do. Now, obviously, our weakest character is this guy, so I should probably try to pummel him. I'm going to go ahead probably with Autumnor, and I'm going to try to attack the gremlin with Autumnor. We're going to go ahead and use him first. Let me see what I can do here. I may just end up actually... Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to use his staff, and it's going to be for 3. I'm also going to use 1 to focus, again, to try to negate the fact that we're losing 1 for the... So again, if you want to know, this action right here is the one I'm spending to focus, which gives me 1 additional hit. And then we're going to go ahead and take a combat action, and we're going to go ahead and grab 3 blue dice and roll it against this gremlin right here to try to take him down. And I'm really hoping for good things here. We need hits. Hey, there's a good roll. Look at that. Tons of bolts, tons of hits. Finally, things are starting to change. Okay, so what does that give us? It's an area of effect attack. Guys, we could have gotten... we got really lucky here, I think. This means that I'm going to be able to target multiple characters in this particular spot. So in other words, my attack is going to inflict pain potentially on this gremlin as well, even though I was targeting this one. That's awesome. So let's take a quick look at area of attack. It allows an attack or effect, I'll just show you right here, allows an attack or effect to affect not only the primary target, but all of the targets of the same faction, heroes or enemies. Oh geez, that's not good. Oh, sorry. That's okay, that's good. I thought that meant it would hit heroes, enemies. It just means depending on who's being targeted. So it's enemies in our case, in the same area. And adjacent areas, connected by a legal path movement, but again, it's all based on range. So AoE 0 affects only the target's area. That's awesome. That is so amazing. So we just basically got a 3 hit on this guy, which is far more than enough to kill this particular enemy without any recourse. So this gremlin is definitely dead. So we're going to take all these hearts off and chuck all this stuff to the side. When he dies, he drops 10 coins, which is a decent amount. So that's going to put one of our first... I guess we actually had a coin way at the beginning of the game, but we lost it. It was on Skeld, but we're going to have a coin dropped in this location. We had said that the bottom gremlin was the one that didn't have the rock or stone in his hand, so that's the one that's being pulled off the board. So now we're going to go ahead and make sure this coin goes in this space. Now we're going to go ahead and say, well, what should we do next? Okay, so sorry, now the area of effect attack is going to trigger, and it's going to bounce over here to this gremlin here. Now, with this gremlin, you have to remember always, they have a resistance against slash attacks, so thank goodness I'm using a staff that's blunt. It says it right here, so those slash -1 hit do not apply, so don't get that confused. In here, we just got to double check on their hard skin. It says all attacks against this enemy cause -1 hit. So that means the area of effect attack of 3 goes against this gremlin, but then 1 comes off. So technically 4 hits are coming at him because I focused. 1 is removed from the knight, bringing it down to 3, and then 1 is removed from his hard skin. Only 2 end up getting through. So this guy is a tough individual to take down, but hey, we're getting there. So this card, I'm going to go ahead and take this guy straight off the board now because we don't want to see him anymore. And thankfully, we now actually are going to be going forward. We will have the supremacy bonus of controlling and dominating that area, which is awesome. So at this point, 2 damages on him, and wow, that was a great turn. Now the only downside is that his Autumnor's turn is done, but we can't forget to do the enemy phase. So this is when the retaliation is going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and pull an encounter card to see whether or not this gremlin here is going to do anything as a result of what just happened. And I'm sure he's not happy about what just happened, so let's find out. Activate all strength enemies, otherwise activate 2 enemies. So I guess it's going to activate the 1 blue we have in play. So that's going to be this guy. So this guy here is going to activate now. And he's going to come at, he's going to come at whoever's got the most damage on them for wounds. And technically Sameera has 1 wound, whereas Autumnor does not. So that is going to be his primary target, is to go after the wounded individual first. That's kind of good because we can roll up to 3 blue dice with the chainmail armor, and that's way better than Autumnor's arcane robe of 2 blue dice. So that actually panned out pretty good. So now we're going to take a look and see. Well, we got to make some decisions here as to what we do, but I guess really at this point we're just going to be taking some damage. So what's going to happen is we'll go through our list here. So again, we're in here, so he's attacking us with claws. None of this also applies. Thief, if claws attack deals damage, discard a random coin. Okay, that's okay. And the thing is, you guys have to remember, I could have, before I ended Autumnor's turn, I could have gone ahead here and picked up a coin before I ended his turn. The reason I didn't pick up the coin is because of this thief ability. If I had picked it up, then he would have actually, based on his targeting priority, would have come after Autumnor, which would have been fine because both of them are equal kind of in damage capability to take hits and stuff like that. But the worst case would be is we'd lose 10 coins again because he'd thieve them from me. So it's better to leave those coins on the ground. But the other thing I'm just realizing right now is it also says right at the bottom here, discard a random coin from the target hero's inventory, or if empty, target from the target's area. That's terrible. So I guess at the end of the day, even though I tried in my mind really quick there to rationalize why I didn't pick it up, he's still a thief and he's still going to pick it up off the ground regardless. That's just not cool. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go ahead and continue through. If enemies control, they do not. This isn't applied, this isn't applied, nothing else applies. So it's just going to be a straight attack with claws at 2 red. So we got to get the 2 red dice out. And we really got to hope for low hits because Sameera is going to have the job of trying to avoid that coin disappearing. And wow, that's awesome. So we got an SS, which is useless for them, and we got 1 star and a hit. So that's just going to be 1 hit coming through. So that's really, really good. Now I only have to defend against 1 hit, but I only get 1 chance to do it with my blue dice. So here we go. This is pretty much what determines whether or not we get to keep that 10 coins. And that's a bloody miss. And there's nothing I can do about that. Ah, it's so tough to lose that money. It hurts. It hurts me deep. So there's the that's the miss symbol there of the kind of gremlin's face. Oh, that's so frustrating. I really, really wanted to grab that coin. I was hoping that I'd luck out. But hey, they're thieves and that's what they do. So they're going to be taking this coin and chucking it. They're pocketing it happily. So he's now gone ahead and done that. And oh shoot, I just realized something actually really quick is that we moved into the oh shoot. I need to double check something here really quick, and it might be because I did a really poor job of flipping the bookmark tokens. I just have to remind myself of where we are in terms of the order of things. We're pulling this card as a result of yikes. Okay, you know what? I've gotten to a point where I think everything is flawless. However, I've kind of lost myself in the turn order a little bit. And so instead of pushing forward any further, I'm going to stop here. And then I'm just going to do a quick recap in my video just to see exactly where I am in the turn order to ensure that I've got everything done correctly. But we know right now that attack just came from the gremlin and he was successful. There was also 1 damage that would have come across, so I'm going to have to pick it up in the next video, and we'll pick it up right from where we are currently because I am running to the end of an episode. I typically like keeping it to around 23 or under. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it so far. We actually have a chance now. I think we're coming back here. It's not as bad as it looks. And if I remember correctly, oh, that's right. That's what's confusing me. I didn't flip my bookmark tokens back. That's why it's throwing me. Sorry, guys. So basically, these should be back and available again. That's what was throwing me. And Autumnor had just gone here, done some damage, and now the gremlins were going after his turn. That's where we were. So that actually just happened. We had an attack. It ended up doing 1 damage, which I couldn't actually stop on Sameera. So this is going to flip her to 2 damage. And now we're golden. Now everything's squared away. Autumnor's turn is fully done, and we still have 2 more heroes to activate in the current hero or battle phase, I guess, hero turn. So really exciting so far. We can take this card now, this encounter card, chuck it. I'm sorry about that little brain lapse there, guys. There was a lot going on. Give me a like if you like what you see, and I'll check you guys in the next episode. Keep on rolling solo.